PNC News First is presented by the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Pizza Hut, we're taking pizza to where it's never been before. Taco Bell, the only place where you live Moss. Colgate, the #1 brand recommended by dentists. And IT&D.
PNC News First, broadcasting live in high definition from Tumon, Guam, on KEQI and KTGM, and on KPPI on Saipan. Here is your PNC News team.
Hafaday and good evening. You're watching PNC News First. We are live from the broadcast center at Akanta. I'm Jolene Tovis. Thanks for joining us. Topping our newscast tonight, her arms riddled with bullets, a bullet wound to her face. Katerina Pito shares details of the morning her and her cousin were made targets of violence. Here's more.
3 bullets here on this arm, then 1 over here.
Katerina Pito is in good spirits, despite having been the target of gunmen in a drive-by shooting in Pagat last week. Pito spoke with the Pacific News Center, sharing that she is just grateful that she and her cousin are alive.
That night, my cousin texted me that she got off from work around 1 a.m. I went and picked her up from her work. We were heading home. When we went home, we didn't know that there's a car behind us because the light was off the other car.
She says she doesn't know how long the car was behind them and says she has never seen the vehicle before or why someone would attack her, leaving her to believe that the shooting was random.
They shot the back and then we thought like our tire got flat. So I stopped, put it on park because I was looking at the screen of the car to see if the tire was popped. And then when we stopped, and then the car just passed us, and then they reversed. They went back, and that's when they started shooting at us.
The gunman's vehicle was tinted, preventing Pito from getting a look at her attackers. And as gunfire rained down on her vehicle, the only thing she remembers thinking is, "God help us." She says that after the shooting, the gunman made a U-turn after passing them and believes that they were turning around with the intent to continue their assault. Already riddled with bullets, she took that opportunity to drive to safety.
Because we saw the car came back when they passed us after they shooting us. They went straight, and then I don't know, they went turn somewhere and then they came back. But then they went straight because there's another car behind them. And then that's when I told my cousin that we have to go home, and then she's like asking me if I still can drive.
So you drove?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe it's all God's. Because I don't feel, like I do feel the pain. My hands are really heavy. I cannot turn the wheel, but then, I don't know, I just go.
You just made it?
Yeah, we just made it home.
During the shooting, Pito, who is pregnant, says she tried to shield her cousin from being shot using her body. The incident left her with gunshot wounds to her right and left forearms. While those bullets have been removed, her left arm is broken in 2 places. Her right arm is also broken, and a bullet remains lodged in the left side of her jaw.
We just came back from the x-ray, and they say Friday, that's when they're gonna work on the one on my face.
As Pito recovers, she shares that she is not fearful, but instead hopeful, leaving this message about the incident.
Well, I always pray to God, whoever did that to us would turn himself in.
Police have not released any information regarding the case as the investigation continues. In other crime news, DOC and local law enforcement had a busy morning tracking down a detainee who escaped from the Hagåtña detention facility shortly after 7 this morning. DOC detainee Patrick Hernandez was on the loose for nearly 2 hours before authorities tracked him down. His escape from the Hagåtña detention facility prompted GPD and DOC officers to comb the Hagåtña area, but it wasn't until the search was expanded that they discovered him in the Maina village near the church. Hernandez was being confined at the detention facility since September on charges of driving while impaired, giving bribes, and resisting arrest, among other charges. While details of how Hernandez managed to escape could not be provided, PNC asked DOC Acting Deputy Director Joe Carbolito how another escape impacts the department given the recent attention.
Understood. I'm sure that there's a public concern out there, but like I said, I can assure the public that we're doing everything we can with the manpower that we do have to make sure that public safety is a priority.
This is not the first time an inmate or detainee has escaped from DOC custody. This year alone, 2 DOC trustees named Johnny Atalik and Johnny Del Rosario walked out of the Manila prison compound in October. This was followed by the escape of a DOC detainee, Draven Kanata, from the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, also in October. However, DOC Director Samantha Brennan indicated that Kanata was not under DOC's custody at the time. In related news, this morning's escape adds to the growing concerns over the manpower problems at the Department of Corrections. After a week of meetings with guards and managers at the island's prison, the governor this morning spoke about her administration's plans to address the problems at DOC. PNC's Kevin Kerrigan reports.
The governor said she doesn't know exactly what happened when Pat Hernandez made his brief escape from detention this morning, but over the past few weeks, she said she's learned that many of the problems at the Department of Corrections come down to a lack of manpower.
Generally, the concerns up there are primarily lack of manpower. That then results in not very secure oversight, results in long hours of working, results in feeling unsafe. So
as a result, the governor said that her administration has now devised a plan developed over the past month to hire as many as 60 new corrections officers before the end of this year.
I'm targeting anywhere from 40 to 60 within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then, of course, we'll go from there. They get in, what my understanding is, they're hired, and then their general orders orientation is a week, and then DOC orientation and training is another week, and then they're put into like an on-the-job training with supervision.
The plan to hire that many new corrections officers, said the governor, involves reducing much of the red tape currently involved in the hiring process.
A lot of the delays is in the bureaucracy of hiring. And so what we have done is we worked with DOA to streamline some of that. We're working with GCC to get pre-qualified individuals that have already gone through the criminal justice system, so they don't really have to wait for the post or any of those requirements.
In addition, the governor said that all the overtime owed to current DOC staff has now been paid in full.
I will do what I say I am going to do, and that's provide the necessary manpower. Training is another issue that they've never or had very limited training. Leadership was also asking for some leadership training. These are all the things that Director Brennan has already planned in the works.
Kevin Kerrigan, PNC News First.
A woman was arrested after police say she attempted to smuggle methamphetamine into the Department of Corrections on Saturday. Charlene Wright was in the wrong when police say she concealed a medium-sized resealable bag containing ice in her shoe. Court documents state that Wright regularly visited an inmate identified as Frank Pangilinan, and as she was being cleared for visitation, DOC officers instructed her to remove her shoes. That's when the contraband fell out. Police say when they questioned Wright about the drugs, she told them, "It fell out of my shoe, but it's not mine," further stating that she didn't know how the drugs got there. An inspection of her shoe showed that it had been altered. She was charged with promoting major prison contraband and possession of a Schedule II controlled substance. She was booked and confined. Governor Leon Guerrero has nominated Dana Gutierrez to serve as the 8th judge of the Superior Court of Guam. The Guam Judicial Council has repeatedly stated the need for an 8th judge, said the governor during a news conference at Adelup this morning. She reviewed a list of recommended candidates from the Guam Bar Association, conducted a series of interviews, and decided that Gutierrez meets all of the qualifications, in addition to being a Democrat.
Dana, we are proud of your accomplishments and we look forward to you assuming a role as the Guam's next Superior Court judge. We know that you will do your part to administer justice fairly and equally. And it is also an honor to have her be my first appointee after 18 years of Republican appointee. I am now appointing a Democrat under our Democratic administration.
Each time I take the bench, if I'm confirmed, I will always conduct myself the way that Governor Leon Guerrero conducts herself in her administration, with fairness, open-mindedness, and with a commitment to justice.
Gutierrez earned her law degree at the University of Southern California. She has over 20 years of experience in law, serving most recently as the attorney with Calvo Fisher and Jacob Law Firm. Judiciary spokesman Sean Gumatauto said that Gutierrez will have to go through a confirmation process which may not be completed until April. The judiciary will have to submit a budget request to cover the cost of her $179,000 salary and the additional costs for a chamber clerk, bailiff, and other staff. Gumatauto said there are some funded positions at the court which have not been filled, so there should be enough money to cover all the salary needs if Gutierrez is confirmed. In other news, this morning, the Catholic Church held a mass and burial for 23 unclaimed fetuses that died as a result of miscarriage. Father Romney Convocar celebrated the Mass with concelebrant Father Julius Akinyemi at Pigo Catholic Cemetery in Anigua. Father Romy and Father Julius are spiritual co-directors of the Guam Catholic Pro-Life Committee. Nearly 50 people attended the ceremony, including members of the Catholic Pro-Life Committee, Knights of Columbus, Christian mothers, and Catholic daughters. Although these children didn't make it to their birthdays in this world, we are celebrating their fullness of everlasting life in God's eternal kingdom in heaven, the pro-life group said in an announcement this week. The remains were obtained from the Department of Public Health and Social Services. According to Tony Diaz, the Director of Communications for the Archdiocese of Agana, this is an important part of the Catholic Church's work and ministry to reach out and care for those who are forgotten in the community. Well, don't go away just yet. After the break, we'll look at another locally acquired dengue case, plus public health's plans to increase permit fees and more.